Greetings everyone and welcome to another episode. Today we're going to take a look at the Alba Y739 calculator watch, do a tour of the watch and see what this guy has to offer. From a design perspective, you might notice that this watch is also sold under another brand, which is the Pulsar Y739. Basically the two watches are almost identical. You can look up one online and see that the resemblance is stunning. If you look at the way the buttons are arranged on the watch, you will see that this is not your typical calculator watch if you compare it to the Casios of that era, in the sense that it has smaller buttons and you have many more buttons than you have on the other one. But the trade-off is that you cannot actuate the buttons with your finger, although you could if you try really hard, but you actually need the stylus. The stylus is hidden inside the watch's clasp, which I think is a nice and interesting feature, which gives it a special appeal. So this is the stylus, you kind of like pull it out, sort of a James Bond, and then with it you actuate the buttons. The pointy part is coated with some white material. I don't know what it is, but it's just to protect the watch, so the buttons, so you don't have metal rubbing on metal. And after you're done, you kind of like in a sexy way hold on, I can't see from the side, you put this back inside the watch and it stays there. You can find this watch in two color schemes, at least that's what I have seen from my research. You have one with a white background of the buttons and around the screen, and you have one with a sort of very dark gray colored one. My personal favorite is the one that is colored darker, but as usual with watches, the white ones are in a more limited series. Another nice feature from a design perspective is that the back is screw-on, so you do get some water tightness around there. Now, I wouldn't recommend you take this watch to the shower, but all the sweat that is behind the watch will definitely not get inside the case. Alright, let's go on to features. One of the main features of this watch, which is obvious from the start, is the fact that it has a calculator. And actually this calculator has more power than what you would find on your regular Casios. Now, I'm not talking about the scientific calculator ones, I'm talking about the C80, C95s, and so on. And I'm saying this because it actually can extract roots. So you do have a square root button on the watch, and it does have percent, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, there it is. So these are some of the features that they're not so common on Casio calculator watches. It does have a microlight, and conveniently the button for the microlight is placed on the bottom right corner, so you can actually press it with your finger. So if you're in a hallway that's dark, you don't have to reach for your stylus and try to find the button. You sort of like just press on the bottom right corner of the watch. Right there, that one is marked, I don't know if you can see it, it's marked LT, and there you go, you can see it. Two drawbacks of this watch. I wouldn't necessarily call them real drawbacks, but it's something that you would have expected to have in a digital watch. It doesn't have a 24-hour mode, so you won't be able to display 6 o'clock in the evening in the form of 18 o'clock. You will have an AM/PM indicator for this, and another thing, it doesn't have a chrono. So this is your typical just a calculator and tells the time watch. I don't know if I've mentioned this, but it also has an alarm. The alarm speaker has a convenient placement right at the top of the watch, so it doesn't sit behind the watch, and that way you can hear it very well. And I do know for a fact that it does have a gasket around that small porthole, so again Alba have thought of water resistance. In terms of availability, the watch isn't that scarce. You do find models on eBay at any given time. The difference is if you want a new old stock model or a model that has been previously used, and that's where the price difference shows a little bit. So if you want one that is in perfect working condition and is new old stock, you can expect to pay anywhere from around 80 to 100 euros. I would go for a new old stock model, because a thing that you notice on the models that are used is that people tend to lose the stylus, so you would actually don't have that, and that is one of the nice things to have on the watch. And people used the tip of a pen to actuate the buttons, so you would actually see pen marks right where the markers besides the buttons are, and that's something that looks very often on the watch. Now, before you go and buy one, remember that this watch takes 2 batteries. Battery life I expected somewhere between a year or 2, depends on how much you use the features. The batteries aren't a type that are scarce, you can easily find them at most watchmaker shops or battery sellers online. So that's it for today's review, and we are going to take a look next time. What are we going to review next time? Right, we're going to do another computer watch, and this time we're going to review a real computer watch, meaning that we've seen the Seiko Data 2000, which had its limitations, but this one was designed as a real portable computer, and we are talking about the Fossil Abacus. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care and wear your digital watches.